Hello, Sean, and I'm going to tell you about some hawk knives I've got here. Okay, you said you had, I believe you said you had the Toad, and I have, let's see if this thing will focus on here. Hold on. Alright, the one I've got has a Damascus blade and a Damascus pivot. Apparently, I think Gavin told me they only made 2 of these. He has the other one. I really like the Toad because it's so smooth, but it's a little finicky and weird to close. I don't know. I just like it because it's a cool knife. The one other you said you had a chance to get was the dog. What do I say about the dog? First of all, it does not have bearings. It doesn't appear to. It's fairly stiff. It's not like, well, it's a lot stiffer than most of them, so I'm thinking it doesn't have bearings. Cool knife anyway. I would use 2 hands to close it, but holding the camera it's a little tricky. And then we got the Ram 3. The Ram, let's see. This is a Ram, the original Ram. Both of these are the original Ram. This is a Damascus blade with silver carbon fiber. And this one's got the polished blade. And then the Ram 2, slightly different. You can see that it's rounded here versus kind of a square cut. And the Ram 3, oh, the difference on the Ram 3 is the release. The Ram 2 has a release on the side. The Ram 2 does. The Ram 3 has a release on the back up here. So, flips open, and then you just pull back on that to close it. It's not as loose as, I don't know, the Kershaws really did a good job on the remake of the Ram, I think. This one's a little looser than the other copy I got. My favorite of the Rams is the Ram 2. Same thing Kershaw made, it's just, of course the customs are a whole lot nicer. And then you got the Mud, which is similar to a Ram, the Ram 2, but it's all sealed with, it's got rubber seals and some sort of seals in there. Very nifty knife. And then you've got the Sam. They all have the same spring clip on the back side. This is what do they call it? The slide lock, I believe. It's a automatic. So it takes 2 hands to close reliably, or your stomach or something. But this switch, when it's slid down, it's locked, so you can't push it. You slide it up and it's unlocked. And what is this? Task Force, I believe. Yeah. Same design. Thicker, bigger, bulkier. It has on the back side of it, it has this little, wherever it is, flat screwdriver, can opener gizmo. Other than that, it's pretty much the same as the Sam. A little bulkier clip, a little different design on it. Very strong automatic. And then there's the external toggle. I don't know if I can do this with one hand or not. I think I've got it locked. A little hard to do with one hand on the camera. Anyway, you get the idea. It works if you can hold it. Alright. Well, I was going to try to hold this so you could see it opening and closing. Let's try it. I can't do it with one hand. I just sit it down. Don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. Alright, that's the external toggle, the ET. And then we have the rock. It's a flipper, and it has, I think they call this a, what do they call it? I forget what kind of lock they call this, but basically this is a little, this metal locks. When you, I'll show you in slow motion, see how it kind of springs up and then locks. So it flips, and then it locks. Let's see if I can focus this thing again. It locks right here on the top. Catches on the back side of the blade. So, I don't know, I don't really care for that lock, but I have to have one of every knife they had to complete my collection, and I didn't have one of those yet. And the razor, this is my favorite knife. Actually, this one I haven't used, so I have another one over here. This is the one I carry just about every day. I use it all the time. It's the Razor, R-A-Z-R, rotate at zero resistance, I believe. And it's similar to the ram lock. It probably is a ram lock, but instead of a protruding button, it's a recessed. So you can open it just like a regular thumb opens. But to close it, you can just, you know, it's really loose. So you can just flip it open and closed. Or you can just do like a thumb flipper. That's my favorite. I use it all the time. This was, where are we at? There's 30V. Cool knife. If you can find one of these, get one. This is the one I would get. Highly recommend for something you're going to use a lot. It's just fun to play with. Easy to open and close. Very cool knife. Anyway, it's fun. Very similar, except it's a flipper, is the Stud 2. This is my second favorite of something you're going to carry and use a lot. It actually has a little flipper here on the back. See if I can get it to focus again. Here we go. Little flipper. So it, I'm trying to get it to focus. There we go. Yeah, it flips. And it has that release on the back instead of the side. So very cool knife too. And then there's the Reeve tie lock that uses the Hawk. I guess it's called the tie lock. Again, I don't think it's a very practical lock. It's just different. And I've got another Stud 2, which I already showed you. And this is the original Stud, which is, it's a little larger than the Razor, which is my favorite. Basically the same knife, except it does have a flipper on it, so you could open it with a flipper or just by releasing the lock. So you can open it thumb, flip, or just kind of use, oops, my thumb in the way. You can just kind of flip it. And then there's a stud XL. I only made 10 of these. This was a very short run of 10 for, I can't remember the knife shop. It's just slightly longer than the standard stud. And there's the beetle. It actually uses a rubber band of some sort, some silicone type. And it's a flipper. It doesn't lock, except when you're holding it, it prevents this link from moving out, so it can't lock as long as you're holding the back of it, I guess. It's not going to close on you. And I did get 2 of those. I like the polish, and then I got, actually I carried this one for a while. It's unique. I wouldn't say it's a practical knife. This is the latest one, which Gavin is taking to the blade show this year. The Lynx. Actually, I was able to pick up one of his prototypes. And it works very similar to the Beetle, but it uses 2, I don't know if I can get this to see them or not, but there are 2 coil springs deep in there. Very thin, long coil springs that it operates on. And this does have a lock on the back that will, actually when it's open, if you roll that, it does lock it from closing. It won't close. So, that's those. These are a couple of the old ones. I believe this is the pony knife, fixed blade, and this is what he called the gal leg, because it sort of looks like a gal's leg. I got 2 of those. Then there's the diving knives. Kind of hard to get out of here. This is called the KAT, I think. And then the others, this is a double edge blade. And then this one, things are hard to get out. This is the single edge, same knife, single edge. Oh, and then there's, I forget what he calls it, but this is actually a knife in here. This opens up. Oops, I dropped it. Here we go. Kind of a neck knife. When you pull the lanyard string, it opens this curved blade. And it is a liner lock, so I'm gonna have to set it down to close it. Alright, so once again, the one I would recommend if you're going to use a lot, get the Razor. R-A-Z-R.